I've never been a part of a Ponzi scheme where somebody just literally from the get-go had the intentions of ripping us off.
Shock and dismay from the man who first blew the whistle on State Senator Carlos Uresti. He's a highly successful business owner who was nevertheless tricked by an elaborate Ponzi scheme. Good evening, I'm Jeff Brady.
And I'm Andrea Martinez. Richard Thum, the owner of Five Star Cleaners, was a key player in helping authorities shut down a fraudulent oil field business represented by State Senator Carlos Uresti. And as Eyewitness News reporter Sharon Coe explains, Thum was one of the company's biggest investors.
Order complete.
For nearly 40 years, Five Star Cleaners has proudly served San Antonio customers. As the business owner, Richard Thum has fought hard to make sure they stayed open, and his employees kept their jobs.
It's amazing how hard we have to work, as you understand, about being in the dry cleaning business and the hot summers and how difficult the business is.
But Thum is now facing a burden, unlike any business challenge he's met before.
You know, I had a lot of sleepless nights, and you wonder how in the world I ever got messed up in this situation.
Thum is one of several people who invested in Four Winds, an oil field startup company promoted by Senator Carlos Uresti, which federal prosecutors proved to be an elaborate Ponzi scheme. The jury found Uresti guilty of 11 felonies. Thum alone lost $1.4 million.
But I've never been a part of a Ponzi scheme where somebody just literally from the get-go had the intentions of ripping us off.
Thum was the first to contact authorities about the fraud. And he's glad Uresti was convicted. But as a business owner, he doesn't know how long it'll take to earn that money back.
Let me say it takes you a lot of shirts to be able to recoup that type of money that we've lost. There's no winners in this. We lost our money. All the other investors lost their money. You have Senator Uresti and all those that participated. It's affected their families. That's sad in itself.
Senator Uresti says he has no plans to step down, and Thum had no comment on that, but emphasized that bringing this case to authorities has likely prevented the Four Winds scheme from draining the pockets of other honest investors. Sharon Coe, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Funeral arrangements for rapper Chris Polk are set for tomorrow. He was shot and killed Saturday morning after finishing a performance at a club. Police say 2 cars boxed in his vehicle on Loop 410 in Evers. Gunmen in both cars fired multiple rounds, hitting Polk. He died instantly. No arrests have been made.
Also developing tonight, a woman and 4 young children were found dead inside a Massachusetts home. Police say their deaths are considered very suspicious. Officers found the bodies at a home in West Brookfield, that's west of Boston, after they were called to that home for a welfare check. Police say 2 of the victims are elementary students. An investigation is now underway to determine exactly how the family died.
A funeral for the beloved Reverend Billy Graham will happen tomorrow. The evangelist's body arrived back at the North Carolina library that bears his name. He had been lying in honor at the U.S. Capitol since Wednesday. 2,300 people will attend the service, including President Donald Trump.
And tonight, a gas shutdown in northwest Dallas goes from bad to worse. In just a matter of hours, hundreds of repair crews will push into affected neighborhoods to fix the entire natural gas network. Today, workers went door to door, letting 2,800 homes and the people inside them know they'll be unable to take hot showers or cook for the next 2 to 3 weeks. More homes are under mandatory evacuations now. This shutdown comes after a home exploded in that neighborhood, killing a 12-year-old girl. A public memorial service was held for her tonight. A wild shooting at the Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco left 9 bikers dead and 20 others injured.
Immediately after that incident 3 years ago, police jailed 177 bikers, charging them with organized criminal activity. But get this, there hasn't been a single conviction. And
so we decided to dig in and found that some of those cases are now crumbling. And as Jason Whiteley explains, there are serious questions surrounding the district attorney himself.
Waco 911. There was some shooting going on.
There are people up there, Twin Peaks.
We're getting officers over there right now.
Much has been made of the violence that happened that day.
I do have 1 patient shot in the belly.
That bloody biker brawl May 2015 at Twin Peaks in Waco that left 9 dead and 20 injured. Now, almost 3 years later, why haven't prosecutors convicted a single person for any of it?
The only thing I can think of, they don't want to try these cases. As a prosecutor, the cases that you really want to try, you try those cases quickly.
Greg Davis was one of the top prosecutors in Waco, but says he quit working for District Attorney Abel Reyna just before that shootout, accusing his boss of running a two-tiered justice system, letting friends and donors go free while pursuing other cases without much evidence. Davis even cited specific criminal cases in a sworn affidavit and says he finally confronted Reyna about it.
He raised up and he told me, you know, don't you ever mess with my effing business again. Do you understand me?
And what did you take that to mean?
I took that as a threat.
Okay, so here I am, right here.
Davis says Diego Abledo is one of dozens who probably never should have been arrested.
If this video didn't exist, how strong would your case be?
I'd be guilty. I would have been guilty just based on their word.
Dashcam video captures Diego clearly that day. That's him in front of that pickup when the fight begins. When the shooting starts, there he is running away. Minutes later, another arriving officer catches him on camera as well, hands up there, complying with cops.
Did you have a gun that day?
Didn't have a gun on my person, no.
Did you have a knife?
No, no knife.
Any weapon?
No weapons on me, no.
Why were you arrested?
So I was arrested for being present.
He wore no patches, didn't belong to a motorcycle club, yet was still charged with engaging in organized criminal activity.
They didn't conduct the investigation first. What they did is they arrested everybody first.
Arresting everyone was Reyna's idea. But this month, nearly 3 years later, Reyna finally agreed to dismiss Diego's charge, along with a dozen others.
I think they will be discussing this in law schools for years to come.
You think so?
I've never seen anything like it in my 25 years.
Clint Broden represents other clients and says Reyna's mistake was widespread arrests without first investigating.
And the problem is Reyna's actions has jeopardized the prosecutions of the people that probably really did need to be prosecuted.
Only one case has gone to trial. It was 3 months ago, and it ended in a hung jury.
The district attorney suggests this is all political. He even accuses the attorneys for those bikers of wanting to throw him out of office. But Abel Reyna is a public official and even refused to answer our questions or offer any explanation. Instead, his office pointed us to his Facebook page.
We will continue to review and investigate the pending cases. It is entirely possible that other cases may require similar action, while others will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
I don't know how he can live with himself and all. I don't know how he can sleep at night.
Diego is among dozens who lost their jobs and who are now suing Abel Reyna for unlawful arrest.
And he's called me a liar. I know that. And to that I say, well, if I'm lying, why don't you want me on a witness stand? Why don't you want to give your very top prosecutors the opportunity to cross-examine me and expose my lies in an open court? And the answer is because I'm not lying, and he knows it.
Later this week, Greg Davis is expected to testify against his former boss about those alleged abuses. Revelations that could result in more cases getting dismissed. Jason Whiteley, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Today's pollen numbers, one page not enough. So we'll start with mold and ash. Both of those are heavy today, 2,300, 620, and there's some moderate oak. But then look at this, juniper, mulberry, pine. So whatever you were feeling, it could have been the combination, it could have been any one of those, but I know you were feeling it today. Coming up, a weekend cold front, and it's changing the rain chances for Saturday and Sunday. Plus, the most unusual named full moon is tonight, Joseph.
All right, all right. Hey, it's been a rough and trying season for your San Antonio Spurs. They're in danger of not making the playoffs at all, so what is keeping these guys going? They're going to tell us. And confidence is key in sports. And if that's the case, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners has got no trouble with that.
4 wheels and passengers, but no driver. Get ready for the age of driverless cars right here in San Antonio. How soon the robotic cars will be hitting the streets and where you can find them.